Okay. Thank you for joining us for the Tribulations success completing course number 3. Tribal reported, being posted by the New England Quality Care Collaborative. Before we start, I'm going to go over housekeeping items. This call will be recorded training purposes. The president is available on the event way. You can listen and post chat. Lines will be after the racial presentation. Please place this in hold. The presentation is a little cut off my icons on the side of the window of the presentation to record accordingly. You can enter questions in the remember to send it to all participants. Or you press pound 6 or your button on your phone to unmute line and ask a question over the phone. This time, unmute all lines.
The leader to the line. Press 6.
We'll now pass this over to Marshall of the New England QIN-QIO to introduce our speakers. Diana QIN-QIO, Stacy Mutating with the Rhode Island Care Physicians Corporation.
Morning. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to go over just the objectives of today and completing activity. You will be able to begin it to Rhode Island Primary Physician Corporation Corporation Antibiotic Stewardship, a successful approach to tracking and reporting the data and discuss clinician and pharmacist challenges to outpatient antimicrobial stewardship. So at this point, I would like to welcome our two speakers. Our first one is Diane QIN-QIO, who is ambulatory clinical pharmacist for the network with 40 years prior to her role at Integra, was employed by Process CS system, initially in the pharmacy department as a clinic pharmacist, and then as a member of the Preventive Quality team as a stroke coordinator and the diabetic clinical manager. She was a certified diabetic educator and a disease educator. She is a assistant professor at the University of Rhode Island College of Pharmacy, and she was recently appointed to the American Council Industry Board. She is certified in medication therapy management and has completed certification courses in anticoagulation, pain management, stroke management, and heart failure. Has served as the certified outpatient educator, as well as the chairman of the Policy Committee, and has been a member of certified dietitian conference, the American Associated Medical Continuing Education Committee. Diana is a fellow of the Rhode Island Education Center for Certification in Disciplinary and Geriatrics and a presenter of the ADE students. She loves to teach and is passionate about mentoring and is passionate about mentoring pharmacists and pharmacists. She also was on the prior, she was on the Infection Control Committee, so has a lot of experience in infection control and microbial stewardship. Our next speaker is Stacy Ritchie. She is a clinical pharmacist, also for the network and field space, and has clinical and pharmacist, and a clinical geriatric pharmacist to Fayette Health, Rhode Island. Nearly 2 years married to geriatric. She was certified geriatric as well as board as a diabetic educator. She is an adjunct clinical assistant professor at the University of Rhode Island College of Pharmacy and is the chairperson of the Women's Department of Health Board of Pharmacy. She is a certified medication and therapy management and innovation. She also is a fellow of the Rhode Island Geriatric Education Center for in interdisciplinary practice in geriatrics and pre-established for the American Association of Diabetic Educators, students as well as postgraduate year residents affiliated with Pennsylvania and Rhode Island. She is a current member of the Rhode Island Health Antimicrobial Stewardship and Environmental Cleaning Task Force, and is a past chair of the Education Advisory Committee and Antibiotic Stewardship Task Force with the American Society of Consultant Pharmacists. In her previous role at Tribulations as a pharmacist interim for 15 years, as well as community, and she was of University of Rhode Island. Ladies, the floor.
Thank you, Maureen. Want me to read the objectives for today? Okay, so we'll start today's elements of outpatient and stewardship. The definition is about stewardship including blind. Measure improve antibiotic prescribing by clinicians and the utilization to implement a strategy to modify prescribing practices to align better with evidence recommendations, diagnosis, and management. So it's important to just pause at this point and say that in primary care where I live in, and it comes from the hospital, I come from long-term care. We're doing a lot of geriatrics, but we really bring over to the primary state, so we're dealing more with 0 to 8 students, and dealing with that internal medicine practice. So I would say recommendations, I think, tend to use very flexible is the long-term care and our care. So what the evidence for what is being used is it something to be justified for antibiotic primary care space as it does in the hospital and as it does in long-term care. So just wanted to note that. The CDC says 2 million illnesses and 3,000 deaths are attributed to antibiotics. So just number continue to grow. And President Obama has been national internal calls for action. So Maureen had a book site, and I'm doing QIN-QIO because we had our interview in slide here, and production Diana in the hospital with functional primary care. So that's kind of came to where we are today. Core element is a patient antibiotic for listed here, action for policy and practice, and education and explanation. Today we're going to simply talk about core element number 3, the tracking and reporting element. And we have to move into really look at the reporting antibiotic prescribing for high priority condition, which we upper right tracking primary care practice. We look at value of drivers and my practices that they were currently and how we can find if all do a lot of medical capable with our enemies. We're doing our and with options and their practices. We're tracking and reporting the patient visits, which is because Diana will talk about in the next slide. Very, very interesting things that we've kind of uncovered what actually happens in this space. Tracking and reporting level will help them. So how do we use antibiotic outpatient setting affects what's going on in the patient? And it can share performance on quality measure and establishing goals addressing appropriate prescribing for health care plans and so help you by some of the to decide who's prescribed what through prescribed practice. So this slide is just and make about what goes on in Rhode Island. Look at just the number of providers per specialty. So you'll see in turn that medicine definitely had his growth. They were high stuff up with a high growth. So this is kind of leveled off.
but also increase in practitioners and gays. So middle, I think that comes into look into that rate. So this slide to give a little bit of hope because we said, look, intervention has now, throughout years they're doing less antibiotics, and Stanford has had a big decrease. And we saw what happened in our practice and what happened in internal medicine practice physicians, higher nurse practice and physician assistants to do this. So that's not prescribe more antibiotics. You look at nurse practitioners and PAs, you see it's getting growth come out of that. Well, it all gave us some thought in doing that with prescription originated. I think we'll talk a little bit about more on that on our slide. How did we approach a couple of physicians and asked them if they would be willing to sign a commitment letter to go on this journey with us. And each of us were able to sign 2 physicians. So that was a total of 4 physicians that we were going to work with. What was the physician's response to it? Well, that's ICD-10 coding. It's very blunt. ICD coding is not very easy, and so there is a problem with that, getting the code correct. Effective communication, patients and families, letting them know that they were going to do evidence-based study, looking at needed measures, and sure that had the right diagnosis. The scientists, as Stacey and I both agreed, that we would do the data collection, that we would be willing to help the physician with his antibiotic, and that we would do some education and advocacy for them. And then we got into the tracking and reporting and using our education and experts to make sure that it was the right drug, the right dose, and the right duration.
So moving on to the next slide, tracking and reporting prescribing for one or more high priorities. So we were picking the high priority conditions, as I say, we take up the rest of the tracking steps because that's primarily a lot of what we see in the primary care offices, see sinus infections. But what we know about upper respiratory infections, they are really are viral. So 99% of upper respiratory tract infections are viral origin. However, a piece of that, so the education plan. So plan staff with Floppy Lover in our institution. So we developed the plan to obtain our antibiotic prescription data from the electronic record. It seems logical and easy to do. We'll talk a bit more about that as well. We've done wonderful educational posters from the folks here at Health and Advisors to both the group delivers waiting in office. So people were sitting there waiting for their physician or their pharmacist or visit. They could read about the differences between viruses and bacteria when antibiotics should be prescribed and when they are prescribed. And then, of course, we did the staff education with these staff and the offices that we were in. The data was very difficult. So our plan was to obtain prescriptions. But what's happening is we were in short information and we were given incredible amount of information. First, which was what we were seeing in the EHR. So that kind of led us down the path of doing the prescribing. And just to price and coding. Our to run reports based on our ICD-10 coding that I alluded to earlier. And we're very successful in based on most likely antibiotic prescriptions. What we were seeing a lot initially was either antibiotics were being prescribed, either not by us, because people were going to walk-ins or people were using the emergency room, which is very problematic. But could point to that, they would come in for a visit with not being antibiotic prescription, and then 4 days later, we could one that was filled, and that was a lot of physician, practice. So that kind of on different fields, and it's kind of looking at it a little differently.
So we basically said, how can we get more accurate information? And we decided that we were going to use the ICD code data in conjunction with prescribing. And I always get a data that had young physicians, and we were very fortunate that we had our pharmacy student who was looking to be with us for 2 weeks and was actually looking to start doing some of this work ahead of time. And so we had her analyze the data. We were able to give her epic read-only access early on so that she could going through the medical records and what were the prescriptions actually generated from what led up to them as Stacy alluded to. We just got very fast. He wasn't prescribing, but people were insistent if they needed the prescription, finally they were going to get one, whatever it took. So finally, I mentioned it among ourselves, and then the next few analyzed it. And we then did 2 of our physicians between you and 20. This is physicians. What that will look like. So as you can see, CP1 is described a lot of antibiotics, and in the blue, and the red is things that we see their antibiotics from someone else. So I think because she satisfied them with prescriptions, didn't feel as much of a need to go to the emergency room. CP2 tries to draw a line and not prescribe antibiotics. I got them, as you can see, red line is quite high on his. And then PCP number 3 was about 50, and PCP number 4 actually on a safety. These are very high. Does not prescribe. I think we also, as we compared notes, we looked at the population, these slides, first, and become before tend to have their healthier population of patients. CP number 1, I will tell you, a couple of patients who have that revolving door, that are hospitalized, they go to long care, they come back out of community for a very short amount of time, and somehow, we do back in the hospital, back in the long-term care facility.
The other thing about PCP number 4 is he has an perspective. We see a lot of things. So as you look at what case condition is individually, and who have an stacking for that. It was eye-opening to what the prescribed pattern was. It's like people feel that one of our physicians doing the job of prescribing, they are giving location right drugs and all these things being like they do hospitalized long-term care and some geriatric patients too, but for the most part the docs are really good. So that just being in the hospital and having kind of being able to in the care space. So for me, coming from long-term care, So we have difficulty in that instant like setting. It just isn't clear. So we have much and with the
So there were definitely provider challenges that they were willing to invest in the patient she might go through it. And one time constraints. Primary care physicians, unfortunately, need to make money. And so we're trying to see, with patients and how a lot of patient needs. They want to keep, make money and patients. They don't always have a lot of time to spend with patients to really link to them. Like antibiotics, they don't get better in a week. Even that can be true with viral infections. They're also under the constraint of patient satisfaction surveys. And patients don't, shop around in this day and age. Like in the old days, I know my mother went to one doctor, for 50 years of her life, and we were thinking of changing. Patients, I think, do feel like passion and not satisfied patients that don't switch. To identify perception of patients that take another building time for results. So sometimes on a Friday, and you think throw a rapid stress on negative implanted, you're going to know until very often they're going to give action for the antibiotic because they strongly suspect that it is so. And they will get results that quickly again in the hospital. That was one of the beauties, right? So then the micro lab was open. We knew it really was a bacterial infection. Actually, we've alluded a couple of times, these early care centers are all over the place. And so people feel that if they're not getting what they need from their primary care, or if they can't get into their primary care quickly enough, they're going to go to the urgent care center and they're going to get what they want because urgent care centers give money. Again, they're doing better in the emergency room setting, I say, and people sit in the emergency room and wait to be seen. They come out with some sort of petition. And so we have that satisfaction. I was on everybody's look at HCAP scores. And they also found out educational for themselves up with are the different patterns of antibiotics. In July now, one is still good. Our chat said many times was the very large data load that we and in totally not correct attribution. It was very, very labor intensive. It was inaccurate documentation by provider. So we take a diagnosis of strep throat and we would say there was no strep culture. Nothing was ever done. Is it really throat? And it had clinically outside item. We typically see in the central patient and to say a minute we didn't know what we did done to that technical like if it truly was valuable instruction.
Your comments. The point of care testing, not all of our primary care offices have care testing for a lot of students have it, but for adults and some of our practices. So as they're independent physicians, not practices, they're by themselves, all these things cost money. So to have a care test for drugs, some of our doctors have those machines and don't. So if we had a lab to confirm diagnosis, we didn't really have the clinical documentation that we were looking for. So what were our success? Certainly increased awareness of antibiotic prescribing by PPs and patients. And the hit home
found the most with that was we had the slide when we presented that evidence of team developing resiliency and how the metronidazole basically does work at all, vancomycin was getting a little more cost effective, but it doesn't work. And then you look at the cost of a deficit regimen, which is
$2,000 per person.
So I think we had home on the reasons besides the increase in resistance to not prescribe antibiotic very little symptoms. But it's great to say we don't know what we don't know. We don't know things. I think the CDC resource patient education were absolutely fabulous and were a great tool.
So this slide here is from the site on the community antibiotic prescription program population by state, and this is 2016. So as you can see, Rhode Island is very small. So clearly we have an over-prescribing zone in this Rhode Island aesthetic standpoint. And there's lots of reasons probably why. We do have aging physician population in the state as well. So as a newer living city, that's a gain here. They are seeing early only 6 visits as we've owned it, but doesn't necessarily negate that that shouldn't be prescribing. After a little feel confident, say no, and that's what they just want is that you identify that our midwives are doing a lot of the things. We've identified that the midwives in the clinics and not just calling the clinic, but also walk in and are you really going to allow to prescribe. So we adjust for that change for that. At the state level, we have a lot of the infectious world in by trying to help those issues and with the education for that case. So hopefully before we step in, we will see us go from the left paint. That's our goal.
I want to be the great
But it's interesting kind of one year and today now white and more natural homeopathic makes a lot of sense than we are on the East Coast. So they don't, like a culture. So culture is driving. I think that's not just that. So an ideal future. So talk about a statewide diagram, not just for the hospital, just for our community physicians, with knowing that bugs are resistant. We need more timely access to critical developments in antibiotic resistance throughout the state. When you're in the hospital, when you live in a lot, there's a lot of name recognition to these bugs. But when you kind of step around, it's not just anymore. We don't have taught it how this at all. And I think we really need to, when we start seeing doctors are comfortable to know what that is and it's happening. But when we talk more drug organisms, drug resistant organisms, they haven't been done. They go for years. They haven't seen these drugs organisms in a long time. If you haven't been in the disease world, yes, you have. So it's our body on that. So that becomes something that we have to think about. And with respect to statewide diagram, in Rhode Island, the hospitals and the plain doc, all their diagram, and theoretically bugs all over the place. So we really would love to initiate something with the Department of Health to help us with this. It will help us really mandatory to have provider education on prescribing, like we have done become serious. So we made the initiative, choice free, have mandating try to have our education, but we haven't done that with antibiotics. It's going to be a much bigger concern. As care centers are all generally private. So in the world of regulatory business and who's in charge here, you have the final business estimate. Medical standpoint is the best of public health. Definitely needs to be as well. And in the first world, we want to see personal legislature. We currently primarily are an ethical. We service probably 200 positions and positions and have about 10 years and like into unused long-term care. We've been around about this as well. So I don't think I need responsible.
We'll now questions.
One for you. Hey, Anna, how did you pick the position going to primary for elements of the interview? How did you go for position?
So my position is to get ready for again to create personalized. So this would be the project, the CEO medical yeah, sorry. So that was since I was in to join. The other one, basically, I was positioned I knew I wanted to do a good job and was looking for to improve care. And I wanted to be project and see what how I
ways I could find similar reasons, knowing they would pull out we help them out. But also, we in our model as well, to actually with when so it was very telling, glad, and then having the mix that we have with respect to their population, the very heavy spectrum population, having extra supply, and then kind of do that kind of they'll both have a big area.
And I will say, I did approach a couple of other positions. We hope to get someone on board and have in addition to practice. One I did ask is very suspicious, a big brother watching, and didn't want me to look at his data. We were obviously very careful when we had the data. So the integrity, not to name names, promise.
So you have to put that here and
say,
you're 200 is hiring all of this, even though you're only
correct. Yeah, we've been today. We have
because integrity and HDL.
Correct.
Paternity and that.
Okay.
So they all the prescription had why the viral infection and drinking and they love stuff, and so past so even wider conditions and they were very warm.
That's just good trying to prescribing. That's a little bit easier so that the doctors not have your prescription like some of the prescription because I think chronically you see communicating problems. So I feel like everything never leave with anything anymore. So I feel like I don't hydrated in the back, staying on the back, take work, I don't know. They feel they still have something. So that did work really well. The other point was that they wanted this to long-term practices. So we tried to make our product more not thinking that there is enough patients in long-term clinic out of the data.
Yeah, they're already there.
Correct. Right.
There is a question that says, do you suppose that TCP is your not?
No, not at all. He just doesn't accept it. The way that a lot of these practices set up is that the practitioners, they don't schedule. Our practitioners will see visit and all of the a lot of hospitals, the administrative hospital, you know, 2 weeks on the hospital. And then if it's needed, the doctor next door, but they actually, I believe, still off at the patient. You call, just to have been really about having space to account for probably, or 6 visits a day. They don't put other schedule with annual visits for from a 3 months visit. It's a new word for me to kind of shift from long-term care practice like the nuances, because this is a business. Like if they don't see patients, they don't pay. So you're not leaving your schedule. You said people visit at all. So they book in, but they have to book a schedule.
I also think there's 5 pharmacists that I got on primary care. They service 100. And I find that they, I'm in the one prescribe have a high degree of prescribing. For one day of every week I'm there, and people would call and say, this week I need an antibiotic. He'd say, oh, Diana's going to take that call. Diana would get a phone and would feel the call for him. And you have a hand, and on and on. And I would work around to convince them that they did not need any antibiotic. And I did. So I think that if we could be in these offices, I think it would be a good benefit.
Take the burden off.
And I do try him with patients.
Can you maybe at the end on how local health department in Rhode Island is supporting antimicrobial stewardship?
Sure. So at the Department of Health, what we do have working with the antimicrobial name. So this is a textbook that was created about 8 years ago, and with that, I think all the hospitals and the state, all the infectious disease providers related to long-term care, to kind of and I think to about what's happening in each setting, but also to discuss the data and patterns that we're seeing. The process of anyone to give it, prescribing to see which prescribing the information that we do. Why? So why do we think that they're often doing antibiotic prescribing in that special care area? So as Marian committee as well, that we've got really good identification.
Yes. You know that as far as the antibiotic program, the other do have an antibiotic program, but unfortunately we here in Rhode Island not. And so they are looking at that particular issue, and maybe in the future we will eventually have that. CDC during the CDC antibiotic, where the Department of Health provides us with the position with those were pretty
Those studies and guidelines for prescribing practices these days.
I can actually tell you interesting so one diagram would help us. As one particular patient who has COPD is a higher reaction. She prevented infection. The primary care to go with that is visiting her husband who was in the hospital. So it probably was a hospital-acquired infection, community-acquired infection. So to know that provided with him and what's going on in that time may save her hospital admission because it could have been more quickly until we found out after the fact. I had to pick up around sitting there and waiting was the hospital.
Yeah. Any more questions? Any more questions from the audience?
Yes, Maureen. I have a question. Thank you, Dan and Stacey, for presenting for us. Hoping that if you try to elaborate a bit on the key events that in your work, and also if you've been able to compare how these four clinicians did in relation to their peers.
And then again, we have a terrible connection right here hearing you.
Okay. I was wondering if they could elaborate on the key interventions that did their work, and if they've been able to compare how these four clinicians did in relation to their peers in the past settings.
So one, I'll take the second one first. We absolutely were not able to compare them to their peers just because of the enormous amount of data that we looked at. I mean, other than looking at statewide data, but the enormous amount of data that we had to plow through just for these four, do it for the 157 or 200 practitioners if you belong to the ACO of Entitled would be an impossibility.
Right.
The first part was about intervention.
Key interventions. So utilizing the resources was given to us from Maureen and the pads. There were like prescription like pads that had directions for patients like care for the viral infection. Wellness. Pads. They were called.
That's where it's
Prescriptions. They look like prescription pad kind of fashion prescription pad. And then having the line up in the office, both in the patient room, the physician, and in the waiting room, talking about, the difference between what is the bacteria, what is the virus, when should you take an antibiotic, what else you can do when you are sick, and not all colds are treated with an antibiotic. So real basic, like, fourth grade reading level type information, but having sign intro in the offices as well was very helpful. The providers, they could report it out when they were talking to patients.
Yes, we just really engaged the one developed. That was a protocol tissue to use the one that he sanitized doctor. And as we entered in these, we gave out the kit or offices that exist in real stewardship, and I gave them out. I've just actually just got some of the data, but I have asked specifically what they give them to. If this helps you not issue for any antibiotics, and they overwhelmingly again, this is touching for not haven't looked already yet, but said yes. The patients that they would walk out of it was that it was in he listened to them, they got something taped.
The other thing too is we do within our physicians like a fall campaign. So with that means we kind of keep coming. First, we want you to call us first before you go to a walk-in, before you go to the emergency room. Obviously, if you get more vaccinated, to go hospital plus. But if you think you have sinus infection, please call us and they'll direct you as to what we would like you to do, whether it would be to come in today, symptom monitoring yourself for 20 hours, call us back tomorrow. Let me call Diane. I mean, we can communicate all day long for the comparison of MAs. Now, leaving my office, the MAs is actually on, hey, can you call this patient for me, please? They think they need an antibiotic, I think they're sick. Can you address and let us know what you think? So it's only at a clinical level, higher than an NA, higher than the secretary at the front desk, because, again, this is one of the biggest problems is the pediatric space, we have nurses. You know, I call my pediatrician assistants for my kids. I have anything direct from the nurse every single time. In the primary care world, we don't have the luxury of having nurses. So that, the liaison and the triage is just not happening in our space in primary care. Keeping a nursing home, having a skilled clinical nurse assessing patients for signs and symptoms of infection in a hospital. That's not happening in primary care. You've got an MA answer the phone, doing something telephonically versus actually having the patient in front of you and being able to clinically assess the patient. So we kind of moved towards, well, hey, we choose the nurse if we have a nurse care manager or a pharmacist to help the physicians and the drivers with some of this clinical assessment before we just say the patient needs an antibiotic.
And I think it's important to say that while we targeted these 4 physicians, because we presented it at all the physician staff meetings, I think overall we've seen the effects of them looking at data and saying, oh my God, right, this is definitely a problem, and we need to be more cognizant of it. I see that in a lot of my office on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a follow-up question. You mentioned diagnosis shifting as one of the challenges. And I was wondering if you have any question to address that, or how you sort of have that in setting.
So it's a bit complicated. It's a loaded question. Diagnosis shifting, for those of you who may not be familiar with the term, it's basically, you're upcoding so you get more money when you submit stuff to the insurance company or to Medicare. So we found that with any of our patients, but in the literature, we were starting the investigation. A lot of literature out there that's happening, whether hospital or whether you're in you're in system care where you're getting paid on the diagnosis code. So where in primary care we can kind of elaborate on that if you're testing at minimum, we need to establish to say yes, this person has strep before we can put it as a step infection. I think because with a very basic level, where we are in primary care is I don't know you can code things for a specific bug. We haven't tested for that bug yet. How do you fix that? Education.
And I think point of PCR testing is available or a little bit more affordable, I think, to know. Because if you get feedback and you see that one, you'll watch on with the bacterial infection, and that can educate physicians on. One of my said to me, I'm giving you a Christmas present, I'm buying rapid stress. And I love it. Thank you. But, as thank you too, in the primary care world, especially the full practitioner, I think there's affordability issue.
All right. Okay. Last question. You got your data from your script, and we know that the challenge that work on keywords for data, then data. And I was wondering, anyone who is apply from here or because of your ACU and your 100 action, that's why you were able to get these data. Is this something that anyone, any practice can look at to support the
I don't think so. I think it's because our and because our director of pharmacy who was able to get stuff. I personally would not be able to do it on my own.
It's something that you have paid for, so you're paying for that need. Depends on how the institution is set up from your payer. It's not something that you just have to be able to click somebody and say, hey, I have insurance information. And I know at the level as well, we've worked through the task force, and they've got so much data. And to scrub through the data is a full-time job for somebody. So scrubbing, not just getting the data, scrubbing the data is incredibly intense. So if you don't know what you're looking for, if you code something wrong, you're going to get misinformation. But for us, we are through our employer, we were able to get the script information.
Okay.
You're welcome. So if you can pass the ball to me, please.
Certainly.
All right, thanks again to Diana and Katie for your work with us. And as you know, in case you're not aware, antibiotics was an outpatient setting going on across all 6 New England states. So if anyone is interested or has questions as to how you can get involved or how we can be of help, the slide on your screen has contact for all 6 states. Please feel free to reach out to any one of them, and we'll be ready to assist you with any questions or needs. Okay, the code for today's webinar is tracking and reporting, getting an evaluation after this webinar, and it will also be emailed at some point in a few days. So please take note of this tracking and reporting, and give us about a week, and we should be able to report this credit to NAB.
Okay, for our final few last announcements before we end today's call. This is the Learning Center, which is our virtual learning system that hosts resources for all healthcare settings. Our goal is to educate providers and help them improve the quality, efficiency, and value of healthcare. Create your account today by visiting www.learningforquality.org. And that's the number 4. Find your registration code for your healthcare setting. If you have any questions about the Learning Center, you can send an email to learning@healthcareadvisors.org for assistance. We are on social media. Please follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest resources, webinars, and other offerings for the New England QIN-QIO. When you close out of this webinar, an evaluation will automatically appear. We appreciate you completing the evaluation. And I did post a link to that evaluation in chat. If you don't have time to complete it right now, or currently sharing a computer with someone else, you'll receive an email tomorrow containing a link to the evaluation. As we mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, the PowerPoint presentation is currently posted on our website, and the link has been posted in chat also. Within the next few business days, a recording and transcript will also be added. The link for this will also be included in tomorrow's email. Thank you again for this great presentation and to everyone for attending.